Hello and welcome to week 3 of AC1110 Accounting Fundamentals. Remember that the contact information is down here with the email address and the phone number. We also have office hours on Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you can't make the office hours, that's okay because they are office hours, they are optional. But if you can make them, that's a good time to go to them and ask questions at that. The phone number will be different. It is a call-in number, so multiple people can call in. So that's a different number than the phone number up here. We also have screen share ability, so if we wanted to work through problems, we can use the screen share at that time, and that is a very useful thing to use. Amanda Edwards is also available to do similar tutoring. If you need tutoring at a different time, you could call me here and we can set up a different time if the different time is available. You can also contact Amanda Edwards. Amanda Edwards also has tutoring on Wednesdays, and that information is in the course announcements for Amanda Edwards down there that you can take a look at. I also recommend using the screen share type software with each other if you have questions or you want to work with each other. Of course, you can't copy each other directly, but if you want to work together and show each other's calculations, you can use screen share like Join Me or Skype are two types of software that's generally free that you can use to work together in groups and show each other screens and kind of work through problems in that way, so that can be useful. We also have this website here. Now the goal of the website is that a lot of the videos are going to be housed on this website, so both for this class and future classes, many of the videos will be housed here. So if you wanted to go directly to this website on, say, your phone or something like this, if you copied this URL and pasted it into your phone, hopefully then you can go directly to this website without having to go into the portal and then having to go into the Moodle room. So you can copy and paste it, or you can just click on this URL and then go into here. And then the menu's on the right hand side now, so if you go, or this drop down, but if you're on a phone, I think this menu should show up and you can be able to tap it. And you're in Accounting Fundamentals, so you can go into Accounting Fundamentals, and most of the videos for this class should be in here, so you can go through here, and this is just a drop down and you could find the videos that are in here. So if you're kind of on the go and you want to jump to certain videos and see them on the go, you can go ahead and do that. If this page for whatever reason isn't working or coming up, they're also a YouTube channel, which I just figured out how to put this here. So they're also, most of them are here as well. So if you wanted to go into here, you could see this information and log into the accounting course concepts and find the information in that format as well. So if you're traveling around and you wanted to pick up some work without going through the portal, you should be able to see most of the information that are the presentations through this format. So then also want to point out the gradebook, which will be on the left hand side. So remember that grades are due on Sunday, and then I have until Tuesday to enter the grades. So you want to go through everything in Moodle Rooms, check off that you've done everything throughout the week that should have been done through week 2 at that point by Sunday, and then by Tuesday you want to go in here and check that the grades have been updated from things like Connect to your Moodle Rooms gradebook. And so weeks 1 and 2 then should be populated for these areas, such as the assignments weeks 1 and 2. These dashes will change from a dash to something else, either the grade that you received or a 0 if you have not completed it. Anything that you have not completed, then you want to see if you can pick up the late work on that. Now remember that quizzes cannot generally be picked up late unless there's an unusual circumstance, in which case you'd have to contact me. I take that on a case-by-case basis. If you run into a time constraint, do the quiz, and then the late work you want to pick up will be the assignments and the homework. Again, you want to get everything done, but if you run into a wall, that's the order in which you want to do it. I'm going to go back up to the cookie trail up top. Going to take a look at the course announcements. Now, I have the announcements for articles. You don't have to read these, but if you want to read those and comment on the discussion forums, you can. One way to add to the discussion forums. We have posted this policy regulations, so this is the policy in the catalog that all instructors were asked to post. So this doesn't apply to any particular class or any particular student. It's just an announcement that we want everybody to be aware of. One, academic dishonesty, mainly often having to do with plagiarism or copying work. And plagiarism is kind of an issue a lot of times when we have so much stuff on Google, and it's so easy to just copy and paste things and not reference them. And so make sure to reference things, because it's really a big deal in the academic area or any area, but really big deal in academics, to make sure that whenever you reference something else that you cite the source. So as long as you cite the source, it's not plagiarism. If you cite the source and don't put it in your own words, then that is not the best even discussion forum post, right? Because you do want to put it in your own words and discuss it. The quote should add to it, to your information, not be all that you have. But if you do quote something, make sure that you put the reference, and then you're okay. If you don't do that, it's really a big issue in academia. So keep that in mind as you go. And then the makeup work, this is going to be on the late work policy. So if you can't get to work, remember to turn the quiz in, and the discussion forums, two things that generally cannot be made up. And again, if there's a problem in one particular area, contact me and we can take that on a case-by-case basis, but for the most part, can't be made up. The other work, generally we have a 72-hour time period to make that up, and you should contact me on those and let me know that those are going to be turned in late as well. And there's a markdown policy that could be 20% on the late work. What I recommend on this policy is that try to get all the work in by Sunday, of course. And if you can't get all the work in, if you got a lot of it in but you don't know a couple things, or you have questions on something and you don't feel like it's complete, turn it in anyways by Sunday, so that I can grade it, I can comment on it, it gets turned in on time, then I can give you questions on it or comment on it, and then you can fix those problems at a later date. Therefore, you can get it in on time, we can comment on it, I can give you some feedback, then you can continue working on it, and at that point, and that would be the best way to go forward. So I would try to give a good start to all the work. If you got questions, turn it in and let me take a look at it, and then go back and make up more work in order to increase the point total after Sunday. That'll give you a chance for me to comment and take a look at it. I'm going to go back up to the cookie trail up top. I'm going to scroll down to the week we are in, which is going to be week 3. And if we look through week 3, then we of course have the objectives, we've got the topics, we've got the lessons. We're going to do 3 and 4. We started chapter 3 last time. 3 is our main focus this time. We'll start on chapter 4. Next week we'll continue on chapter 4. We've got our videos. You can take a look at the videos here, and those will just go through the topics. Many topics will be the same. Again, you want to go back and repeat a lot of the topics. Make sure that you're getting that core concepts down. If you haven't done chapters 1 and 2, you're going to have to do them in some kind of order. You can't really just jump into chapter 3. You won't really know what's going on. So you do need to go back in and do some late work before you can really continue forward in this type of class. The discussion forum will be down here. Remember how I would approach these classes is that discussion forums are worth 21% of the grade. Get 21% full credit on the discussion forums if at all possible. Why? Because you have the most control over them. There should be more than enough information to post to. There's generally no wrong answer to the discussion forums as long as you're contributing to the conversation. You want to make sure to pick those points up. So in order to do that, you need a minimum of 4 posts, and most people will need more than 4 posts to pick that up. I would post more like 7 to 8 posts at all possible. Make sure you add to the content of the conversation. So you want to add content to it. You can respond to my posts. You can respond to other people's posts. You do not have to respond to my posts as long as you get the minimum of 4. I would post more than 4 to make sure that you pick those up. Then I would make sure to pick up as much of the assignments and homework as possible, because again, you have the most control over those. With the resources given, you should be able to pick up some credit on all those by the due date. And then I can give feedback, and you could basically go back in there and pick up any more points on that you can in accordance with the feedback that is given. So then you want to get in, you want to make sure to pick up as much of these as possible. Then the quizzes, the midterm in this case, and the final are worth 33% of the grade. You have the least control over those. If you do not do as well as you hoped to do on those, you should be able to pick up your grade substantially by making sure you pick up 21% of the discussion as well as much of the homeworks and assignments as possible. So that's how I would approach these classes. Remember that this is your kind of your checks area to make sure you finished everything. Meaning, once you're done with the discussion, you can say, okay, I've done that, checked it off basically here. You can say assignments, done that, check them off, done this, done this, even though this work will not necessarily be done in Moodle Rooms. This is where you go and say, okay, I finished this, I finished this, I finished this. You won't see it in the gradebook until, of course, I enter that in the following week. This is where you check it off, even though, for example, this assignment will be done in Connect in week 3. So if you looked at week 3, here's the assignment. And you'll be going into this assignment, and you'll be doing using this paperclip to help you with this assignment. Remember that the paperclip is going to have an Excel document, in this case, that you do not have to turn in. It's solely there for help, but it has instructional videos, and it has an example problem that are very helpful. So I know that this problem is going to be a long problem, but with the resources that you have here, you can really pick up a lot of points solely from using these resources. And so make sure to pick up points on those. Don't look at it and say, well, that's a huge problem, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do it. You know, look at the Excel sheet and pick up as many points as possible. Even if you do not get full credit, let me comment on it and then keep on going from it. If you look at these resources and put them into this information, you should be able to pick a substantial amount of points on it. Then of course you have the homeworks here. These are going to be the Learn Smarts. Once again, don't not do the Learn Smarts. Go in there. They're multiple choice questions basically. You can jump from the book and back. So get in there and pick up as many of those as you can. If you run into a time constraint, get as much as you can get done. Try not to get a 0 on it. Do those. I would do those first really, and get them in there by Sunday. And if you have to continue on them after that, do so. Remember that this paperclip is a Moodle Rooms assignment. You do not need to turn it into Connect. You need to turn it into Moodle Rooms. And so when you download this, it'll be a smaller type of assignment that will be done in Excel, and you'll actually have to turn in that Excel sheet. The place you want to turn that into is back in Moodle Rooms, and that's this one that says it's a Moodle Rooms assignment. You can also find that same worksheet by going here and opening the worksheet there. And then there'll be a submit button once the week opens here. That's where you want to submit it. Future classes, that's how you'll submit a lot of the work. In the accounting classes, we'll do a lot more work in Connect. So I'm going to go back up to the cookie trail up top. I call this the cookie trail. I'm going back to the class. I'm going to scroll down to week 3. Then of course you have the quiz down here, and so, or the midterm. So make sure to take the midterm by Sunday. Do not take the midterm. If you have an issue, then let me know and I'll take it by a case-by-case basis, but otherwise you cannot generally make up the midterm. So it's a multiple choice question. Take it by Sunday, even if you do not feel prepared. Make sure not to get a 0. Any points are better than a 0 on it. If you do not do as well as you hoped, then you should be able to pick up your grade substantially through doing this other work, discussions, assignment, homework. They're worth a substantial amount of the grade. So that's going to be it for week 3. Have a great week 3.